what you are doing right now. Look around you. Are you at home, on the bus, at a cafe? Is there people with you? What are they doing? If you are on public transport, then there's probably someone next to you. Look at them. Are they chatting, looking out the window, paying attention to anything around them? Or are they staring down at a screen like you are? Or maybe you are at home, with someone next to you. They probably are also on a screen. Or you are completely alone, with no one, just sitting or lying down, holding a phone or a laptop, no emotion in your eyes, a blank face, quiet, maybe a bit of fidgeting, but not much else. If we were on a zoo and we were all zoo animals instead of people, someone would probably say that something is very wrong with us. Zoochosis. Zoochosis is a condition similar to psychosis that can develop in animals in captivity. It becomes apparent when an animal engages in stereotypic behaviors, which are aimless, monotonous, and obsessive actions. This can be pacing, bar biting, weaving, and swaying with no reason, hair or feather pulling, self-mutilating, regurgitation, and other odd behaviors. This condition is stress-induced, caused by frustration, sensory deprivation, or overload or excessive human interaction. At zoos, this is a clear indicator of poor animal welfare. It is also important to note that zoochosis almost never exists in the wild. This is because animals evolved to be part of a wildlife, to roam freely, interact socially, hunt, protect, and in general live a rich sensory life. However, in captivity this is all denied to them, and in response animals suffer due to loss of purpose. Their bodies and minds are not allowed to do the things they were meant for. Now go back to looking around. Do you think humans are in their natural habitat, doing the things they were meant for? We live in a very routine world, waking up to our alarms, commute, go to work or school, come home, cook, do house chores, consume content, scroll, go to sleep, repeat. This is most of people's lives nowadays. We have seen influencers lately telling people to have hobbies, but do you really think someone who comes home tired from work, just wanting peace and silence, will really engage in hobbies? I don't think so. And how different are these lives to these animals living in captivity? They also live based on human schedules, like when are they going to get fed? Animals in zoos are also kept entertained and distracted with enrichment toys. This can be puzzle feeders, boomer balls, cardboard boxes, and even natural items like branches, used to stimulate animals mentally and physically by encouraging natural behaviors like foraging, hunting, playing, exploring, all in order to reduce their boredom. While this is all very good for the animals to combat zoochosis, wouldn't it just be better to have them roam freely? I mean, if these toys exist, it is only for a reason, to combat zoochosis, hence proving its existence. And if these were so efficient, then why is there still cases of this condition? In humans, this translates to the digital world: phones, computers, TVs, all that keep you entertained. It even reminds me of those iPad kids. With our monotonous lives, we get lost in the repetition and can lose our sense of purpose in life. So we feel like we need these micro dopamine hits whenever we have the time. Like in animals, stereotypic behaviors in humans will look like doom scrolling with a blank face, opening and closing the same 3 apps, eating mindlessly in front of a screen, burnout, and not leaving your bed for hours, aka bed rotting. Something that depressed people did, feeling ashamed and guilty, to now a quirky trend that a lot of people do and affirm they do proudly. Now I want to talk about the structure that leads us to take on this lifestyle. Because it is very easy to come here and say, phone's bad, people lazy, touch grass. But it's not just that. That ignores the fact that someone is building this cage. And by someone, I don't mean one evil person with one master plan. I mean, there's a whole system that keeps us in this loop. We live in an economic system that needs us to be predictable, productive, and efficient. Capitalism wants workers who show up on time, sit still, focus for 8 hours, then go home tired enough to not cause much trouble. productivity culture has normalized this. Waking up to an alarm, rushing through a commute, spending the best hours of your day indoors under artificial light looking at a screen, then coming home and being too exhausted to do anything but scroll or watch something in a streaming service that you pay for, and watch shitty series that is being recommended to you by an AI algorithm. In a weird way, this is our enclosure. Even the way our cities are designed help with this. Many of us live in apartments, sometimes with hundreds of people. You don't even know the name of your neighbor, and that can make us feel very lonely. We are far from nature, with not much community or public spaces where you can go and just exist without having to pay anything. But that's also another conversation about the lack of third spaces nowadays and how you can't leave your house without having to spend money. So where can we go to relax and escape? Back to the screens. That's where we go. And then you have to account for the attention economy. Platforms make more money the longer we are scrolling. I have talked about this in multiple other videos, and you probably know about this. Of course, they are not designed to let us go easily. I still miss the days when Instagram will tell me after some time, this is all for today. This is all we had to show you today. And at the time, I will be mad because I was like, damn, I was planning on staying here for a little bit longer. This app is boring. And now I look at it and I'm like, when is this going to end? I want to leave. There is nothing interesting here. I want to go. And all of this is not by accident, but it's also not because someone sat down and said, let's make humans have zoochosis. It will be so fun. You're gonna love it. Like, no. But it is because every little design choice that keeps you hooked is rewarded. The longer you stay in the cage, the more valuable you are to these companies. And one of the most disgusting parts about this is that physical workplaces also benefit from this. A tired, burnt out, mentally overloaded worker does not think a lot. They don't have much time to think about things like quitting your job, organizing what is wrong with this company, what is wrong with my boss, was I mistreated, should I unionize, should I strike, things like this. Workers who are tired just want to go home and relax, just keep a low profile and keep going as long as they can because they have groceries to buy and they have rent to pay. And you can do all at once, and that's exactly what these companies want and how this works. Unfortunately, on top of that, we have what I like to call cage comforts. This is pornography, online shopping, online betting, online casinos, delivery apps, video games, endless streaming. This is all things that keep you online. Things that don't make you happy, but don't make you break the bars either, because you will stay there. There is always something new to watch, something new to buy. It keeps you just comfortable enough to not run away. And the thing about this is that all of the things I named are addictive. You can get seriously addicted to some of the things I just named. More commonly known, online casinos, betting, pornography. A lot of people get addicted to just consuming content or online shopping, and these are serious addictions. This is something that can seriously impact your life. Pornography is one of the things that are not talked about enough, and unfortunately I've been seeing it more and more being marketed in social media, which is crazy because there is minors in there. But sure, I'm touching on so many subjects that I could yap for hours. All that I named creates this ecosystem where a person can seriously get lost in it, as I said, for years, and not realize it because it is normalized. And that's the problem here, guys. This should not be normalized. But moving along, there's an even bigger problem, great, which is AI. We are outsourcing more and more our thinking. Recommendation systems decide what we watch, what we listen to, and sometimes even what we believe in. AI tools can write for us, think for us, and answer for us. And when this came out, people thought, great, it will do the stuff that I don't want to do, so I can focus on the things I do want to do but don't have enough time, like art. But we have seen that AI is being used more for creative things than for bureaucratic things. That was not the point, guys. I think we lost a plot. We lost a plot. I am not saying, and I want to say this again, because this is not a conspiracy theory video. This is not about me saying that there's an evil guy behind all of this with an evil mind and an evil plan that is doing all of this. Like, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that there's a system, there's a communal structure that is keeping us sitting still, looking at screens, and not asking many questions. This system rewards behaviors that look a lot like stereotypic behaviors found in zoochosis. And that's what I wanted to come to. Are we experiencing zoochosis? I don't know. Is that even possible? I'm not a biologist, guys. I have no clue. But is there some similarities? Hell yeah. Now, some of the research I did for this video took me somewhere I was really not expecting, and I didn't even plan to do this next part, but I found it interesting and I wanted to share. And it is about linking the rise of mental illness, especially in younger generations, with a kind of human zoochosis. Now, before I go into it, I want to make myself very clear. I am not a psychologist, I am not a psychiatrist. Anything that I will say should not be taken seriously. And at the same time, I want to say that mental illness is something very complex. It involves biology, brain chemistry, traumas, genetics, a lot of that stuff. But I want to bring out a part of mental illness that I also think is not talked about enough, which is the one that is caused by the social structure we live in. Having that said, what I find interesting about the research I did is the timing. We are seeing rising levels in anxiety, depression, OCD-like behaviors, attention problems, especially in younger people. And this is at the exact same time that our lives are looking more and more caged. People are spending way more time indoors, more time in front of screens, less community, less nature, more pressure to perform and be productive all the time. When we put all of this together, and also thinking that younger people use more the internet because older people are just not as used to that, we can think of some things. However, correlation does not lead to causation. Just because something really looks like it is that, it doesn't mean that it is that. But you have to agree with me that it is very interesting to look at things through this lens. Think about it. When an animal in a zoo starts showing stereotypic behaviors, we do not usually say, oh, that tiger is mentally weak and has failed for society. Or that, oh, that elephant has a defective brain. We say something is wrong with the enclosure, we look at the environment first, and we say this animal is not okay in this condition. So we look into the zoo structure, its policies, and we try to do some change. However, in humans, we deal with this in the complete opposite way. If someone is burnt out, depressed, or anxious all the time, we talk about their brain, their coping skills, their mindset. We say they have a weak mind and that they just don't know how to deal with life. We often individualize things, and of course there is a real medical side to all of this. It could be due to trauma, it could be due to brain chemistry and genetics. However, how dare we not ever look into the social reasons for this as well? Not everyone has some messed up chemistry in their brains. I don't know, not everyone's cause has to be genetics or trauma, you know. And maybe part of what we call illness is just our body and mind signaling us that our environment is not the correct one for us. If we want to keep the metaphor, it is a signal that our cage is too small, too loud, or too artificial. Quoting Krishnamurti, it is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. And I love this quote. I think it is extremely relevant to the conversation we are having right now. Now, I can give a tiny bit of advice or some ways to rewild your life. Maybe go more to parks, touch grass, see the grass, smell the grass. If you live in a rural area, you might already be doing this because you have more access to it. But if you live in a city, go to those artificial parks, even if they don't have a real park there. Just go. seeing some green is good enough. Another thing I do is in my commutes, I take the metro. I used to always wear headphones and listen to podcasts or music, but lately I've been doing nothing. I don't put my headphones in and I just stare at people. And it's very cool because people then look at me very weird because I'm staring at them. But I do get some interesting thoughts, and sometimes it's the morning and my brain is not ready to get that load of information already from like podcasts, for example. So I just take it slow and I take in my morning, and everything is fine. Another thing is have more real conversations with your friends. Sit down with your friends, try to ask them deeper questions. Don't just brain rot with them, like maybe talk about this with them. Show them this video. Great advice. Show them this video, share it with them. Do something with your hands also. This is back to the thing of influencers telling people with real jobs. Oh my god. I did not mean to say. That was not a great time to start doing construction here.
A few moments later.
It's still going. I'm just gonna talk over it. As I was saying, this can be linked to influencers telling people to get hobbies, but I understand that you might not want that, or you don't have the energy to do anything creative when you get home, which is sad, but like I understand. So I would say, instead of getting home, and sometimes you just want peace and quiet, so instead of just sitting down and watching some shitty Netflix series, I'm sorry Netflix, I don't really care, sit in silence. Sit in your couch and just for 20 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever time you want, just sit in silence. Let your thoughts wander and just breathe and relax. Maybe that's better for you and your mind than to just stuff your mind with some random TikToks or whatever. Just sit in silence in your couch, in your bed, in your balcony if you have one. Great. I think that will be very nice for you. Or another way to go is to intentionally break loops. Instead of taking your phone into every division of your house, for example, when you go to bed, don't leave your phone in the bedroom at all. Leave it in another place. Get one of those clocks that have an alarm with it so you don't have to use your phone, for example. That's a way to diminish your time online and have less Zoochosis type of behaviors. Another thing I do, and you can also do, is whenever you're scheduling your week, that's something I do, like I schedule what I have to do in each day. If you do that, schedule also the unproductive time you will have. Write down, I have this, and here for 1 hour or 2, I will be unproductive. I will be doing nothing. And that takes away a bit of the stress and a bit of the pressure you have, because you look at your schedule and you have done this good thing, productive, efficient, and then you have time for yourself. Because the truth is, if you're not well here and not well here, you will not do anything well in the rest of your daily life. And that is the most important right now. I think this was all I wanted to say. So let's just conclude this. Zoochosis is a real problem in an animal world, and one that has been long debated by biologists, zoologists, and animals rights activists. And I hope that after this video you have some more awareness about this and think more about animals that are being kept in captivity. However, I can't help but wonder, if zoochosis behavior in animals is unacceptable by many, why is it acceptable in humans? Why do we tolerate in ourselves what we would call abuse in others? Is this where we really want to draw the line? I want to finish this video with one last reflection for you. The next time you catch yourself staring at a screen with that zoo animal blank stare on your face, maybe ask yourself, is this what I was meant to do with my one human life? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have more thoughts, comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe and perhaps leave a like, maybe, if you want to. And I will see you next time. It was a pleasure to have you here. Bye!